In a bustling city, Jada was a 22-year-old African-American woman with dreams that seemed just out of reach. Every day, she cleaned the luxurious homes of wealthy clients, her worn-out sneakers padding silently over marble floors. Jada worked hard, taking pride in her job as a cleaner, hoping to save enough money for her own small place one day. One sunny afternoon, while wiping down a glass table in a grand house, she noticed a little girl playing in the garden outside. Minjun, an 8-year-old Korean girl with bright eyes and an infectious smile, was cheerful and full of life. Jada often admired the girl from a distance, wishing she could be as carefree. Little did they know that their lives would soon intertwine in unimaginable ways. As Jada finished her work and prepared to leave, danger lurked just around the corner. A menacing figure appeared, a hitman sent by rival Mafia clans to take down Minjun's powerful father, Suk, the notorious Mafia boss of the Korean underground. "Stay back," Jada shouted instinctively when she saw the assassin aiming for Minjun. In that moment of bravery, she made her choice, to protect the little girl at all costs. As Jada prepared to leave the grand house, a chilling silence fell over the garden. She heard a rustle and turned to see a dark figure advancing from the shadows. It was a Korean hitman, his eyes fixed on Minjun, who was blissfully unaware of the danger. The assassin's glinting gun reflected in the sunlight, sending a shiver down Jada's spine. "Minjun, move!" Jada shouted, fear surging through her. With no time to think, she lunged forward just as the hitman pulled the trigger. In a split second, Jada pushed Minjun aside. The bullet struck her instead, pain exploding in her side like fire. "Jada!" Minjun screamed, her wide eyes filling with tears as she grasped Jada's arm. "Why did you do that?" Jada gasped for breath, but managed a weak smile. "I couldn't let him hurt you," she whispered, struggling to stay conscious. The world around her began to blur as the little girl held onto her tightly. The hitman staggered back in shock, realizing his target had been saved by an unexpected hero. As sirens wailed in the distance, Jada's vision faded, but her heart swelled knowing she had protected Minjun at all costs. As Jada lay on the ground, pain radiating from her wound, her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. She could hear Minjun's cries, and even through the haze of her injury, Jada felt a fierce determination rise within her. Protecting the little girl had been instinctual. She couldn't let any harm come to someone so innocent. In that moment, Jada reflected on her life and the struggles she faced every day. She had always been strong, working hard to make ends meet while dreaming of a better future. But nothing mattered more than keeping Minjun safe. "I won't let you go," she whispered to herself, as if those words could drive away the darkness threatening to engulf her. With every ounce of strength left in her, Jada focused on Minjun's frightened face. "You're safe now," she managed to say, feeling warmth spread through her heart as the girl clutched her arm fiercely. Jada felt the weight of what she had done, taking a bullet for someone she barely knew, but it only solidified her resolve. "I'll protect you no matter what," she thought, knowing this act of bravery would change their lives forever. The sirens grew closer, but all Jada wanted was for Minjun to know she was loved and safe. The blaring sirens filled the air as the ambulance rushed to the hospital, Jada barely conscious on the stretcher. She felt a cold sweat on her brow and struggled to keep her eyes open. A sharp pain pulsed from her side where the bullet had struck, and darkness threatened to pull her away. "Stay with us, Jada." "Just hold on," a paramedic shouted, frantically checking her vitals. The sterile smell of antiseptic and hustle of hospital staff surrounded her as they wheeled her into the emergency room. In the bright lights of the OR, doctors quickly assessed her injuries. "Gunshot wound to the abdomen," one doctor noted, his expression focused and serious. "We need to operate immediately." Jada's heart raced as she heard snippets of conversation, but the voices echoed like they were underwater. She managed to catch a glimpse of Minjun being comforted by a nurse outside the room, her tiny frame trembling with worry. "Don't leave me," Jada whispered weakly, though she knew Minjun couldn't hear her. As the anesthesia settled in, Jada's last thought was of the little girl she had saved and the hope that she would be okay. Then everything faded into darkness. The hospital doors swung open with a heavy thud, and in walked Suk, Minjun's father, a powerful mafia boss known for his ruthless reputation in the criminal underworld. His presence commanded attention. The air thickened with tension as everyone instinctively stepped aside. Dressed in a tailored black suit, he exuded an aura of authority that made even the most hardened criminals wary of crossing him. "Where is my daughter?" Suk's voice was low and cold, echoing through the sterile halls. Panic flickered in the eyes of the staff as they quickly gestured toward the waiting area where Minjun sat, trembling and pale. Suk rushed to her side, kneeling down to meet her frightened gaze. "Minjun," he said softly, brushing her hair back. "I'm here now. You're safe." The little girl clung to him, tears streaming down her face as she whispered about Jada's bravery. "I need to know who did this," Suk growled, his expression hardening. "No one touches my family and gets away with it." His mind raced with thoughts of revenge and protection. He was determined to keep his daughter safe at all costs, especially after losing someone who had shown such courage for her sake. As Suk knelt beside Minjun, he wrapped his arms around her in a tight embrace, feeling the tremors of fear still coursing through her small body. "You're safe now, my little princess," he whispered, his voice a mixture of relief and love. He pulled back slightly to look into her eyes, searching for signs of comfort. "Nothing will ever hurt you again. I promise." Minjun's tears flowed freely as she clung tighter to his suit. "Daddy, I was so scared. Jada pushed me away, she got hurt." Her voice wavered, filled with concern for the brave woman who had taken a bullet for her. Suk's expression darkened momentarily as he processed her words. "Jada is incredibly brave," he said softly, brushing a thumb across Minjun's cheek. "She protected you without hesitation. We owe her everything." "But is she okay?" Minjun asked, her eyes wide with worry. "She is in good hands now," Suk reassured her, his tone firm yet gentle. "We'll visit her as soon as she wakes up. You mean the world to me, and I won't let anything happen to you or to those who care for you." In that moment, father and daughter found solace in each other, their bond strengthening amidst the chaos surrounding them. After what felt like an eternity, Suk finally made his way to Jada's hospital room. She lay unconscious, bandages wrapped around her abdomen, a stark contrast to the vibrant spirit he had heard about from Minjun. As he entered, the sight of her bravery struck him deeply. This young woman had risked everything for his daughter. "Jada," he said softly, kneeling beside her bed. The machines beeped rhythmically, monitoring her fragile state. "You don't know how much you mean to us." His voice was heavy with emotion as he recalled Minjun's frantic words about how Jada shielded her from danger. When Jada's eyes fluttered open, she blinked against the harsh hospital lights. Suk took a breath, his heart racing as their gazes met. "You are incredibly brave," he stated, his tone unwavering as he leaned closer. "What you did for my daughter. There are no words." Jada squirmed slightly, trying to muster a smile despite her pain. "I just wanted to protect her," she replied weakly. "Your selflessness will not be forgotten," Suk vowed, determination in his eyes. "I will make sure you are taken care of, as you deserve all that and more." In that moment, an unspoken bond formed between them, rooted in gratitude and respect amidst the turmoil of their lives. As the days passed, Suk found himself thinking about Jada more often. Her courage in the face of danger resonated within him, stirring feelings he had long buried under the weight of his role as a powerful mafia boss. He admired not just her bravery but her spirit. The determination in her eyes when she pushed Minjun away from danger was something he could not shake off. Suk sat in his dimly lit office one night, papers scattered around him, but his mind was elsewhere. "I'm drawn to her," he thought, grappling with the internal conflict that tugged at him. A woman from a different world, a cleaner who had risked everything for his daughter, was becoming a fascination he couldn't ignore. In a life ruled by violence and fear, Jada represented something pure and beautiful. "Can I really let someone like her into my life?" he pondered, knowing the dangers that surrounded him as a mafia boss. His heart raced at the thought of her, while his mind warned against it. Every moment he spent in her presence filled him with longing, battling with the reality of his world. Suk realized he felt a connection that could lead to something deeper, a dark romance he never expected to pursue. Tension in the criminal underworld escalated as word spread about the failed hit on Suk's daughter, Minjun. Rival gangs viewed this as an opportunity to diminish Suk's power and respect, knowing that a blow to his family could shatter his reputation as a formidable mafia boss. They shared whispers in dark alleys and smoke-filled rooms, plotting their revenge against Suk and anyone related to him. In a dimly lit warehouse, a rival gang leader, Jin Soo, leaned over a table covered with maps and photographs. "Suk thinks he's above us," he sneered, his finger tracing the pictures of Minjun and Jada. "But we strike when he least expects it. That cleaner has made him vulnerable." Meanwhile, Suk remained vigilant, his instincts sharpened. He could feel the threat hanging over their heads like a dark cloud, and every moment he spent with Jada only intensified his resolve to keep her safe. "I can't let them get to her," he muttered fiercely to himself during one late-night meeting with his advisors. Even as his feelings for Jada grew, the danger surrounding them loomed large. Suk knew he had to act quickly to protect both her and Minjun from the impending storm brewing in the shadows of the city's criminal landscape. The stakes had never been higher. After Jada was discharged from the hospital, Suk made immediate plans to ensure her safety. He couldn't shake the thought of what could happen if his rivals learned that she had been involved in protecting Minjun. "I need a security detail for Jada," he instructed one of his trusted men, his voice firm. "No one gets close to her without our knowledge." As they drove through the city, Suk felt a weight pressing on his heart. The connection he felt with Jada grew deeper each day, but he was torn between his feelings and the world he belonged to. Would she even want this life filled with danger? Yet, there was no way he could let her fend for herself after what she had done. When they arrived at Jada's apartment, Suk stood outside, hands clenched into fists. "You'll be safe here," he assured her as she stepped out of the car, though doubt crept into his mind. "I'll have someone watch over you every moment." Jada looked at him, vulnerability evident in her eyes. "I appreciate it, Suk, but I can handle myself." He shook his head resolutely. "Not anymore. You mean too much to me now." In that instant, the reality of their bond settled heavily between them, one forged in bravery but shadowed by the dangers of his world. As the days turned into weeks, Jada and Suk found moments to connect amidst the chaos. One evening, while sharing dinner in her modest apartment, Jada looked at Suk, who was quietly observing her. "You know, for a powerful mafia boss, you're surprisingly good at making spaghetti," she teased, a playful smile dancing on her lips. Suk chuckled, his eyes softening. "It's part of my plan to win your heart. Good food is crucial," he replied with a smirk. The lightness of the moment felt like a balm against the tension surrounding them. Later, as they sat on her couch, their knees nearly touching, Jada turned serious. "Why do you really care so much about me?" she asked softly. Suk sighed, staring into her eyes with sincerity. "I've never met anyone like you before. You risked everything to save Minjun. That kind of bravery is rare."
"And you?"
"You're supposed to be this tough mafia boss," she shot back gently. He shook his head. "Behind that tough facade is a man who wants to protect what matters most, and right now, that includes you." In that shared vulnerability, an undeniable connection formed between them, a fragile bond blossoming in the shadow of danger. The atmosphere grew tense as Suk and Jada enjoyed a quiet evening together, unaware that rival gang members were closing in. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the apartment building as windows shattered, and masked figures burst into the living room. Suk instinctively pushed Jada and Minjun behind him, his instincts as a mafia boss kicking in. "Stay close," he commanded, his voice deep and authoritative. As the gang members advanced with weapons drawn, Suk's heart raced, not just for his own safety, but for Jada and Minjun. With lightning speed, he lunged at the nearest attacker, expertly disarming him before swiftly taking on another. "You think you can threaten my family?" Suk growled, adrenaline fueling his strength. He fought fiercely, blocking punches and delivering swift blows. Jada watched in horror, but also admiration as Suk defended them with unwavering determination. "We have to get out of here," she shouted, pulling Minjun closer. Suk nodded, panting but focused. "I'll protect you both," he vowed fiercely, his eyes blazing with resolve. He led them toward the back exit, fighting off enemies relentlessly until they were safely outside. In that moment of chaos, something shifted within them. A fierce bond was forged in the heat of battle, their lives intertwined more than ever as they faced danger together. In the aftermath of the brutal attack, Jada sat on the couch, her fingers trembling as she wrapped them around a warm mug of tea. The fear and adrenaline from the night before still coursed through her veins, but now there was a blanket of silence in the apartment, broken only by soft breaths. Suk stood nearby, his imposing figure cast in shadows. "Are you all right?" he asked quietly, concern etched on his face. Jada looked up, meeting his gaze. "I will be," she replied, though doubt lingered in her voice. "I'm just scared, Suk." His expression softened as he crossed the room to sit beside her. "I know," he said gently, "but I promise you're safe here with me. I won't let anything happen to you." The weight of his words wrapped around her, and she felt a flicker of warmth beneath her fear. "You fought so hard for us," Jada murmured, feeling gratitude swell in her chest. Suk reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. "You did too, more than I could ever ask," he replied softly. In that moment, their connection deepened further. Love blossomed amidst the chaos and danger surrounding them, forging a bond that felt both fragile and unbreakable. As the danger surrounding them continued to loom, Suk felt a surge of emotion welling up inside him. One evening, after a long day of worrying about Jada and Minjun's safety, he found himself sitting on the edge of Jada's bed, his heart racing. "Jada," he began, taking a deep breath. "I need to tell you something." Jada looked at him, her expression soft yet filled with concern. "What is it, Suk?" "I've never met anyone like you," he said, his voice thick with sincerity. "You risked everything to protect Minjun, and now, I can't imagine my life without you." He paused, gathering his thoughts before continuing. "In this chaotic world we're in, I want to fight for you, not just as my daughter's protector, but as my partner." Her eyes widened in surprise. "What are you saying?" Suk took her hands in his, looking deeply into her eyes. "I want to marry you. I promise to protect you always, through any darkness that may come our way." Tears alighted in Jada's eyes as she processed his words. "Suk, are you sure?" "More than anything," he replied earnestly. In that moment, under the weight of their circumstances, a flicker of hope ignited between them, a commitment forged through love and resolve amidst the shadows of their lives. As time passed, Jada and Suk navigated their new life together, united by love and the challenges that came with being part of the Mafia world. They quickly learned to adapt, creating a safe haven in Suk's upscale penthouse, filled with laughter from Minjun and the warmth they shared. Their bond deepened through quiet moments spent together, watching movies, cooking dinner, and sharing secrets late into the night. Yet, the danger still lurked in the shadows. Suk remained vigilant, ensuring that strong security measures were in place to protect his new family. "I won't let anything happen to you," he reminded Jada one evening as they sat on the balcony under a starlit sky. Jada smiled softly, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I trust you, Suk," she replied, "but we have to stay strong together." Their relationship blossomed amidst uncertainty, each challenge only strengthening their resolve. Suk found himself falling deeper for Jada's strength, while she admired his fierce loyalty to protect them. In this dangerous world ruled by darkness and rivalry, their love became a beacon of hope, a promise that no matter what lay ahead, they would face it together, hand in hand.